Welcome to the introduction to psychogeometry. In today's class, we'll look at the definition of certain terms under psychogeometry. We'll look at the properties of psychogeometry. I'll give you an exercise. I'll give you a hint. And lastly, I'll give you a summary of what we have done in today's class. Now, under definition, what defines a circle? What is a psychogeometry? We'll know what a chord is, a semicircle, a segment, sectors, tangent, and subtended angles. Now let's move on. So what defines a circle? A closed two-dimensional curved shape where all its points are equidistant to the center point. So we should know that a circle is a closed two-dimensional curved shape and it has different parts in it, where all points are equidistant to the center point. Some basic parts are radius and a diameter. As we move further, we'll get to know other partitions in a circle. So what is a psychogeometry? Psychogeometry is basically finding the angle within a circle. This angle could be found in shapes like chords, segments, sectors, semicircle, tangents, subtended angles, etc. So the process for us to find an angle in a circle defines the term psychogeometry. For an instance, we have a center point and we have a line from the center point to the circumference, and it forms a radius r. If we equally have another line outside the circle that slightly touches the circumference of the circle, it's called a tangent t. So the line r meets at tangent t to form an angle 90. A 90 degrees angle is formed. So the process of finding the angle 90 degree in a circle defines the term psychogeometry. A chord is a line that lies anywhere below the diameter that goes from one end to the other end of the circle. See the figure below. So we can clearly see this circle, and this line is known as the chord because it lies beneath the diameter line. We can assume at the center line that any line that goes from this side of the circle to the other side of the circle is the diameter. So the chord is a line that lies below the diameter. Now let's move on to the next definition, which is a semicircle. A semicircle is a line that divides a circle into two halves. It is also called the diameter of the circle. For instance, if we have a center point, a line that goes from this end of the circle to the other end of the circle is called a semicircle, also known as the diameter of the circle. Let's continue. Next, we have segment. The segment of a circle is a region bounded by a chord and the intercepted arc of a circle. So for an instance, we have a chord that goes from this side of a circle to the other side of a circle. This is a chord. So on this side of the circle, the intercepted arc of the circle is known as the segment. Here is a big segment and here is a small segment. Meanwhile, a line that passes through this side of the circle to the other side of the circle is called a chord. Next, we have a sector. A sector is said to be a portion of a circle made of an arc of the circle along with its two radii. So for an instance, we have our center point located at this point, and if we have two radii connected to the center point of the circle, we have r here and another r here, is known as a sector. Next on our list is a tangent. A tangent is a line that passes the outside edge of a circle. When this line is touched with a radius, the angle is 90 degrees. So we've done this before. If we have a center point at this side and we have a line that touches the circumference known as the radius, if we have an external line outside the circle that slightly touches the circumference, is called a tangent, T. This forms an angle 90 degrees. Next, we have a subtended angle. A subtended angle is an arc opposite the inner triangle. So for an instance, we have a center point here and two radii. We have an inner triangle and we have an arc opposite this inner triangle known as a subtended angle. So this arc is known as a subtended angle. Now we'll move on to the properties under cycle geometry.